Happy Monday, everyone. Week 5 NFL. Tom and Jerry levels of cartoon tomfoolery occurred in the Week 5 of the NFL. Why don't we start with this right here, bro? Oh my God, the Cardinals-Titans game. This is not a game that I'd usually be like, yes, let's throw that game on. That's going to be a banger. But I'm so glad that I watched it. I'm so glad that I watched it. First things first, Emari Demercado. So James Conner is hurt. Trey Benson is injured. There's 2 running backs in Carolina. There's 2 running backs in Arizona. Michael Carter and Emari Demercado. Emari Demercado has a 72-yard breakout touchdown, and he drops the football before breaking the plane, and it is overturned, and it is not a touchdown. Take a look at this. So, number one, I just gotta say, like, how does this keep happening? It is actually crazy that this keeps happening, but I think more importantly on this play, L'Jarius Sneed is right behind you. You are 3 yards from the end zone. Why is he slowing down like there's nobody behind him? Does he not hear the footsteps? It's one thing to think you're completely untouched, uncovered, and drop it. That's still incredible. But how does he not, like, there is no sense of urgency here. It's bizarre to watch a third stringer act like they don't care about scoring a touchdown. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is, bro.
Vince would look to be
so Demercado is slowing up. Wow. Now, this is incredibly close, and there's a comment right here that says, LOL, the ball def broke the plane. Number one, if you spell plane like that, I'm not entitled to take your opinion. It's P-L-A-N-E. But regardless, 2 things must occur for there to be a touchdown. The ball must break the plane, and the runner or receiver must have possession. So Emari Demercado clearly is losing possession here, and that's why they overturned it. They say he no longer has possession of football. Otherwise, you could fumble into the end zone. It's still somehow a touchdown. That wouldn't make any sense, right? Someone said, I'm surprised an NFL coach has not made a loud example. Yes, this is not a miracle play. This happens every year, right? Like, it's easy to clown on a guy like Emari Demercado because he's a third stringer, and you could be like, oh, well, that guy's just a backup. He doesn't know ball.
Another NFL player dropping the football.
This is Jonathan Taylor doing it last year. Dropping the football, it's really, really close, but the second you lose possession, it's not a touchdown. Well, at the moment that Emari Demercado did this, the Cardinals were about to take this massive lead. The Titans could not move the football. The Titans were virtually doing nothing with the football. It was kind of like a whack game to watch, right?
It has been overturned.
But then this happens. Now, it should also be mentioned that this was an incredible run for a third stringer, and like, when your running back field is already depleted, this is really exciting as a coach and exciting as a player. This was a really big moment for Emari Demercado.
Short.
This is a huge run.
Down, Demercado.
Well, that touchdown gets overturned. The Tennessee Titans get the score up to 12-21. Cam Ward is in the red zone, and Cam Ward throws this football right here. So, no, this is not a Cardinals wide receiver. This is a Cardinals defensive back intercepting a Cam Ward pass. And then this happens.
It's deflected and picked. Taylor Demerson, and then the...
You can literally envision this sound effect the entire time that clip is playing. So it wasn't enough that Emari Demercado drops that football and they overrule a touchdown, because then they get an interception, which becomes a fumble, which gets fumbled into the end zone, recovered by the Tennessee Titans for a touchdown. Now, all of this would be lost to history, right? Because the Cardinals still have a 9-point lead, even if you get this touchdown and you get the 2-point conversion or you get the PAT. The Cardinals are still leading. There's still 4 minutes left in the football game. And despite this, they still choke the ball away, turn it over. They didn't manage the clock. Joey Sly gets in range for an absolute chip shot, and he almost shanks it, but he doesn't. He buries it. Cam Ward gets his first ever win in the NFL on one of the most tomfoolery shenanigan games I've ever seen. Any single one of these plays in and of themselves would have been one of the craziest plays of any NFL week. Like this interception, fumble, touchdown, this would have been nuts all by itself. Demercado going from touchdown to touchback. We talk about this every season, how crazy this play is, and it all occurred in the same game for the Arizona Cardinals to choke away a win. I couldn't believe the game that I watched. People are saying it's a touchdown, it's a touchdown. I'm gonna be honest, man, like, what does it really matter? Why on earth is a running back slowing up 3 yards from the end zone and consciously losing possession? It's 2025 and we're still doing this. I agree. I mean, if it's even up for debate, you rule it against him because you should never be doing that. Obviously, a big lack of judgment. I know he's going to be really frustrated with himself about that. I don't want to dogpile because this is a real human being, but it's hard to understand how this occurs. It's very difficult to understand how it occurs. I think this sums it up very well. What is the fascination with some players wanting to drop the ball at the point of the goal line? Is it supposed to look super cool or something? I agree. I mean, unless you're up by 60 and you're just showboating and being careless, that's the only way I can understand it. All right, let's keep cruising, though, because there were some amazing games as well, like this Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Seattle Seahawks game was beautiful. The atmosphere, the jerseys, the game, it was beautiful. Yep, the Buccaneers had on their alternate jerseys and their alternate logo. The Seahawks had on those beautiful blue jerseys. I don't know what they call them. Unbelievable day for fantasy managers, too, especially dynasty fantasy managers who are going to have these guys for a long time. Emeka Egbuka is on the fast track to Offensive Rookie of the Year, no question. 7 receptions, 163 yards, and a touchdown. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 8 receptions, 132 yards, and a touchdown. Both of these dudes dropped over 30 in fantasy this week, I believe. Emeka Egbuka is going to be one of the greatest wide receivers if he plays like this every year. My God. Yeah, dude, he is absolutely balling out. Tampa Bay did an excellent job in the draft. Like, Mike Evans is still excellent, but older. And as he's phasing out, they're going to phase Emeka Egbuka right in. It's literally perfect. And I'd be really excited if I'm Seattle Seahawks fans, too, because Jackson Smith and Jigba is incredible as well. He's so good. It is kind of interesting that the Seahawks have Cooper Kupp, because I kind of thought Kupp was... It's just crazy that Cooper Kupp just a few years ago was the Triple Crown winner. Now he's kind of like the backup wide receiver. Like, he's the guy that comes in because all the attention is on Jackson Smith and Jigba. It's so weird how quickly that changed. I think a lot of that has to do with the Los Angeles Rams offense and how ridiculous that offense is. Denver, Philly. Actually, you know what? I don't want to breeze right past Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Seattle Seahawks. Let me look at the stat line on this game because it really was an excellent game for both teams. I think both of these teams are very strong playoff contenders. Absolutely. I've always felt that way about the Buccaneers. I've been a little iffy about the Seahawks, but as Sam Darnold has been playing better and better, I'm starting to think Seattle's very legit. These completion percentages between these two quarterbacks is actually incredible, though. You got 88% completion on 29 for 33 on Baker, and you've got 28 for 34 on Sam Darnold. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Darnold has 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. It really was an incredible game. Yeah, I mean, if you're an Njigba owner, dude, look at this stat line. That's disgusting. You know who's kind of slept on and been having a really good season? Not a guy I heard a lot about. Torrey Horton. Every time I hear them say his name, I think of Torrey Holt, like the OG Madden Mobile days. But Torrey Horton, he had a punt return touchdown. He's been a pretty solid depth guy for Seattle. I've been really impressed with him, and I didn't know much about him before. Interestingly, though, I used to always think like Seattle had one of the best defenses in the league, and I still think they're a very good defense, but it was weird that this game was a slug out. I didn't expect this game to be such a high-scoring, incredible game. All right, well, that was an electric game. I obviously got to talk about my own Lions versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Jake Browning is dog shit, but he stat padded his stats so well at the end of this game. There was a point in time where Jake Browning had, I think, 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions, and just the most pitiful stat line. Then kind of in the latter end of that fourth quarter, he did get 2 touchdowns, and he started to look decent. I think he just was like, fuck it, what do I have to lose at this point? So he started slinging. David Montgomery threw a touchdown, so that's always fun. Classic Detroit Lions. Jared Goff played great completion percentage. Everybody got involved in this game, it seemed like. Amon-Ra had 100 yards. Laporta had a touchdown. Isaac Tesla had another touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs, Brock Wright. It was a really fun game. Fun game to watch. I do not like the fact that the Jake Browning Bengals are able to put 24 on us, but I'm going to cope. I'm just going to chalk this up to us not caring because we were clearly going to win the game, but Jake Browning should not be scoring 24 on us. I'll say that. Oh, Panthers, Dolphins. Dolphins are so cooked. Dolphins are so unbelievably cooked. I'm so sorry. Tua Tagovailoa, even when he goes 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 256 yards with no Tyreek, they're cooked. Devon Achane putting up a big old 1.6 average yards per carry. Jalen Waddle looking like a monster. Can we talk about Darren Waller? Can we talk about Darren straight off the couch, straight off of rapping Waller? Darren Waller literally wasn't playing football for... what, was it multiple years? Was it 2 years that he just wasn't playing any football? You honestly have to be such an incredible athlete to not practice with the team, literally be on your couch, not playing National Football League football, and then you just show up and get 5 targets for 78 yards and a touchdown after having 2 touchdowns the previous game. It's pretty cool, but I can't glaze you because you just lost to the Carolina Panthers. Number one thing from this Carolina Panthers game was Rico Dowdle. So Rico Dowdle was the running back for Dallas last year, and he had a pretty solid season. He comes over here to Carolina, and a 200-yard rushing game was not on my bingo card. 9 yards per carry and a touchdown against the Miami Dolphins. Unbelievable stat line. He also added 3 receptions and 28 yards. I don't know how many people were starting Rico Dowdle in fantasy this week, but if you did, you're a happy camper because that's 33 piece out of Rico Dowdle. Unbelievable. Okay, and in embarrassing news, I put U.S. legal tender, my actual hard-earned schmeckles, hard-earned, on the Las Vegas Raiders, who got absolutely dog-walked by Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts. Jonathan Taylor is so back. I started to doubt that Jonathan Taylor was back last year, I think, and maybe the year before a little bit, but Jonathan Taylor is so back. Another hat trick game for him. Daniel Jones keeps playing efficient, excellent football. Someone free Ashton Genty from this poverty organization. Guys, this was my dark horse team. My dark horse team this year was I was like, the Las Vegas Raiders are actually going to be pretty solid this year, bro. Like, they could sneak into the playoffs. Shit. Never again. You guys ever have a shit list? I don't know if you guys, do a lot of sports betting or whatever, but, I've assembled over the years a shit list of players that I will never bet on again. And in my shit list is absolutely the Las Vegas Raiders. They are in my shit list. Outside of the Las Vegas Raiders, I'm trying to think who's in there. I don't want to air anybody out, actually. We'll take some time and we'll learn. Houston Texans 44-10. I didn't expect this. Before this game started, it was minus 50 for Houston to win. So Houston was supposed to win, but it was a 2.5-point margin. Completely dominated. Remember, every single season, you know what we've been saying? Not every single season. Every single game this season, we've been saying, where is CJ Stroud? I found him. I found CJ Stroud. He's still in there, you guys. He just needed to warm up a little bit. He was booting up. He was shaking the rust off. 23 for 27, 85% completion, 250 piece, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and I believe the best QBR out of any quarterback this week. QBR is kind of a goofy metric, but it's impossible to deny that this was an incredible game by CJ Stroud. So he looked really, really good. I was expecting Woody Marks to be the guy. People were talking this guy Woody Marks up like he was, the next big fantasy running back. Nick Chubb got the bell cow carries. He had the best average yards per carry, and he had a touchdown. So nice work, Nick Chubb. Derrick Henry got bottled up, but this isn't really shocking. Like, it's weird to see Derrick Henry get bottled up, but it's not when Cooper Rush is in at quarterback. The Baltimore Ravens might have the most non-system quarterback system. Does that make sense? There are some teams in the NFL that truly have a system quarterback play where, like, you can plug and play quarterbacks and they play well. Perfect example was Mac Jones. Mac Jones on the Niners. We'll get to that. But Mac Jones comes into the Niners, plays great because Kyle Shanahan's offense can make a lot of quarterbacks look good. Baltimore Ravens' entire game plan is focused around Lamar Jackson. That makes sense. Lamar Jackson is a multiple-time MVP. He's incredible. But you see how non-dynamic this team is when someone else comes in. When Cooper Rush comes in, throws 3 interceptions, no touchdowns, and even Derrick Henry, one of the greatest running backs of all time, can't get more than 2.2 yards per carry because all defense has got to do is go, just put 8 in the box and stop Derrick Henry because Cooper Rush isn't going to beat us. Not in this offense. This was a tough game for the Baltimore Ravens. 1-4. It's going to be a tough climb for Baltimore to get back into the playoffs. It's not impossible, especially when Lamar comes back, but 1-4 is scary as shit. And I'm so used to the Baltimore Ravens being in the playoffs. It's going to be weird if they can't claw it back. So this is a big week, though. I mean, Denver Broncos plus 183 to win. Pretty serious underdogs in this game. They beat the best team in the National Football League, so some may say. In fact, both the undefeated teams lost this week. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Buffalo Bills taking an L this week. Really impressive game out of the Denver Broncos. Really impressive game out of the Denver Broncos. What was interesting to see out of this game the most is the Philadelphia Eagles game plan is kind of like this clock managing, run the ball, almost cheese strategy. I'm not saying that to be negative, but everyone's been shitting on Jalen Hurts for not having to throw the football or shitting on Jalen Hurts because he can't throw the football. But it's like Philly is so good at managing the clock and running the ball efficiently that when they do that to you, all they have to do is manage the clock and then you lose, right? Well, what happened happens when you go up against an excellent defense like the Denver Broncos who stops your run game? Saquon Barkley only had 6 attempts in this game. A.J. Dillon had 2. Jalen Hurts didn't do much. They were not establishing the ground game against Denver. They couldn't clock cheese him out. Jalen Hurts is forced to pass more than he's passed all season long, 23 for 38, 60% completion, and 2 touchdowns. So what I do want to say is the idea that Jalen Hurts can't throw the football is absolutely moronic. He is an excellent quarterback. He absolutely is. But when Philadelphia is forced to throw the football more than they usually do, they take this loss here to the Denver Broncos. I think this is the key to beating the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, I'm kind of game planning for if the Detroit Lions face them in the playoffs. The key is you have to stop this run shenanigans. You have to stop Saquon Barkley and force Jalen Hurts to throw, because that's how you win this game. Exciting to see Devonta Smith finally have a good game, though, and I am just saying that because he's on my fantasy team. Denver Broncos defense is super, 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 super good. I love watching the Denver Broncos play on defense. Defensively, Nick Bonito. I don't know what it is, but people do not talk about Nick Bonito. I don't know why. Nick Bonito is like one of the best. He's probably like a top 3 edge rusher in the National Football League, and all we ever talk about is like Michael Parsons and TJ Watt and Myles Garrett, Aiden Hutchinson. And I love talking about those guys. But like on a pure statistical basis, Nick Bonito is as good, if not better, than some of those guys right now. And I don't know. I don't know if it's like Denver's not an exciting market or Nick Bonito's just not an exciting guy. I don't know. I really don't, but he's incredible. Only reason I said that is I actually do kind of want to know what the odds are right now for offensive and defensive player of the years. So NFL offensive player of the year odds, number 1 is Puka Nacua. He is leading the charge. Behind him is Jonathan Taylor. Then it's Bijan Robinson, Christian McCaffrey, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. It'd be hard for Puka not to get it. I'm going to be honest. It's much more difficult for Jonathan Taylor to consistently have hat-trick touchdown games than it is for Puka Nacua to continue on his trend. The only way in my mind that Puka does not get this is if he gets injured. That's it. I mean, you can't base things around who gets injured or not. Like, this is football. But Puka Nacua is literally getting 15 targets a game. This is Cooper Kupp's triple threat season all over again. So here's the defensive player of the year candidates right now. So Aiden Hutchinson leads the charge. I love my boy Hutch. Micah Parsons is very close behind Hutch. Then it's Myles Garrett and Nick Bonito. This legitimately pisses me off. I understand, like, I'm a Green Bay Packers hater, but you're telling me Nick Bonito has worse odds than Micah Parsons right now? Like, that actually makes me so mad. Will Anderson, Jared Verse not far behind. Yeah, Jared Verse is another guy. Jared Verse is so good. Jared Verse is so good and so young. Los Angeles is so good at drafting. While we're on the topic, I mean, it's kind of clear that Emeka Egbuka leads this. Like, he's pretty much the clear favorite. He has 4-1 odds better than Ashton Genty, who's next close behind. Then it's Jackson Dart, Tyler Warren, and Tedero McMillan. Should be noted, like, Jackson Dart's only in here because quarterbacks are so favored in every voting category. I might have talked about that before, but realistically, like, should Jackson Dart be top 3 with Emeka Egbuka? I don't think so. Not based on how he's played so far. He did have that nice win and then took a pretty big loss here to the Saints of all people. But yeah, it's just the quarterback bias. But it's be tough for Emeka Egbuka not to win it at this point. A lot can happen, though. A lot can happen in football. Yeah, speaking of which, dude, the Saints and the Giants are now both 1-4. Saints finally get their first win. So all the winless teams got their wins, and all the undefeated teams got their losses. I don't think there's a winless team left in the NFL right now. If you're a fan of a winless team, you can let me know in the comments, but I don't think so. Cam Scatterboo, dude, I love to glaze. I love to glaze Cam Scatterboo, but he had a huge fumble in this game. Huge fumble. I don't want to say it lost them this game because you never know what's going to happen, but it was a crucial fumble. Still love the kid. Still threw some excellent box. Still giving his heart. I think he will continue to be an awesome player. Let's be real, though. If you're depending on Cam Scatterboo to win the game for you, you've already screwed something up, especially against the New Orleans Saints, who have played like the worst team in football week in and week out. Taysom Hill is back, by the way, so that's always exciting. Love seeing Taysom Hill. Rashid Shaheed did have a big game, 4 for 114 and a touchdown. I feel bad. I feel bad for Rashid Shaheed. I feel bad for Chris Olave. Like, can we free these gentlemen? Can we free these gentlemen from the shackles that is Spencer Rattler and the New Orleans Saints? It's interesting to see who's been stepping up in New York with, I think Tyrone Tracy is still injured. Malik Neighbors is obviously out for the season, which is so sad. Like, it's got to be tough to be a Giants fan, man. I'd be really frustrated if I was a Giants fan. That sucks. That sucks. Minnesota Vikings, Cleveland Browns. You want to hear a fun fact of the day? Browns starting quarterbacks in their first ever game are 0-18 now. Isn't that insane? Dylan Gabriel had the chance to actually break that mold. Dylan Gabriel had the chance to shatter that stat, and they lost. And honestly, he played really solid. He played really, really solid. Carson Wentz had a game-winning touchdown with not a lot of time left, I think, to Jordan Addison. Cam Akers throws a passing touchdown. Everyone wants to be like the Lions. I don't blame you, Minnesota. I want to be like us, too. Carson Wentz actually played pretty good, though. Justin Jefferson, 7 for 123. Jordan Addison, 5 for 40 and a touchdown. Jalen Naylor, Michigan State University, a touchdown as well. So it was a really good game. Shout out to the Vikings for getting the dub. I was hoping Dylan Gabriel could do it, but nice game, Dylan Gabriel. Also, Quinshon Judkins. Wow. Quinshon Judkins is looking like a very promising running back. You know, as much as we can talk shit about the Cleveland Browns, they've always had a really solid run game. Like, I always associate the Cleveland Browns with Nick Chubb running the football really well. I think this is their guy. I believe that the Cleveland Browns also have Dylan Sampson, who is on IR, and I think Dylan Sampson was initially going to be the starting running back. I don't remember, but I do know that Quinshon Judkins is having a really good year, and he was a dog at Ohio State, so we'll see how that continues to pan out. I know this isn't NFL, but dude, Texas got beat by DJ Lagway in Florida. Florida's been playing like shit all season long, then they show up to beat Texas, and now Archie Manning has 2 losses. Whoa! Okay, let's get to the game I really wanted to talk about. San Francisco 49ers, apologies for my stroke, and Mac Jones, 26-23 overtime W against the Los Angeles Rams. Mac Jones legitimately played excellent. Excellent. He was hitting, it's not like, dude, it's not like his players are making plays for him. San Francisco is so depleted. No Brandon Ayuk, no George Kittle. They had McCaffrey. He threw like 160 yards to Kendrick Bourne. Granted, I believe he played with Kendrick Bourne in New England, but this game was crazy. It was crazy.
They're executing, playing good football.
Sorry, guys, I can't show that much footage. The NFL's been absolutely dicking on most of the shit I've been trying to play on this channel. I pray for a future where the NFL allows us to use the footage. It'd be so much more fun. But great game, great throws, great game plan from Shanahan. The biggest play of the game was this one, which kind of looks like it just glitched through. For some reason, they don't show the start of this play, but on 4th and 1, down by 3, Sean McVay wanted to go for it. They went with basically just this standard handoff up the middle to Kyron Williams, and it got completely stuffed. Really bad play call. And Sean McVay, to his credit, he took credit for this in the postgame. He was like, yeah, that was a bad play call. I let my team down, and I feel bad about it. But, dude, you got Matt Stafford and Puka Nacua with, record-breaking stats. They're running all these unique passing concepts. They're passing the ball so well. And in the biggest moment, they go for the halfback dive. I mean, some people say the philosophy, if you can't get a yard, you don't deserve to win the game. And I get that, but this was I was very shocked to see this play call. I was shocked to see the Rams lose. Didn't matter to me, though. It was kind of exciting to see Big Mac Jones get the W, being a big underdog. No George Kittle, no Nick Bosa, no Juwan Jennings, no Brandon Ayuk, no Ricky Pearsall. That is your 3 top wide receivers are all out. And your starting quarterback out, your starting tight end out. And you did that against the Los Angeles Rams. Incredible. Actually incredible. Shanahan is kind of a freak. Both these guys are really, really good coaches. It's just the thing they say about Shanahan is Shanahan chokes it in the big game. Shanahan, how many times have the Niners been in the Super Bowl? And they haven't won it since 95 or something like that? It's been a long time.
No hay presión. Flota el paso.
Eagles-Broncos game came down to a Hail Mary. Sorry, I'm trying to watch a few clips before I forget them all. And, dude, A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith kind of have their mitts on this. This was a catchable Hail Mary. Honestly, kind of crazy.
Game on the run for Murray in this game.
Murray goes play action, turns his back to the defense for a moment.
Next up is Cardinals. Look, I know the Cardinals choked that big game. I know they choked it. But Marvin Harrison Jr. is so back. Look at this kid.
End zone. It is caught.
Actually, criminal, that's not a touchdown, too. He was down, that's correct. But how much sicker would this have been if it was a touchdown? It just blows that it wasn't because it was, you know how the history books are, man. People aren't going to go back and watch the 50-yard catch. They want to see the 51-yard touchdown catch. You know? And damn, absolutely dunked on these two. Look at this. Oh! Such a bummer it wasn't a tutty. But you can see, I mean, he's clearly down. It kind of looked like he almost rolled over this Titans player. I gotta glaze Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle glaze session.
Down. Look at this.
Ugh, how do you stay up? How on earth do you stay up?
Oh, still on his
That is
feet.
crazy.
What an afternoon for Rico Dowdle.
I also agree here. I agree. I agree with this so much. Best announcer of all time. Why is it that the biggest broadcasts, like the primetime broadcasts, have such like monotonous announcing? You know? And I know it's a personal preference thing. Like I know some people like the animated, excited announcers, and other people just like want the announcers to shut up. My dad is one of those people. When my dad watches an NFL game, he puts it on mute. Yeah. He literally mutes the TV. He's like, I just can't stand to listen to these guys. I just can't stand it. And he just mutes the whole thing. I don't know. I love announcers like this who go absolutely nuts on every big play. I don't know. The NFL knows what they're doing, though. I'm not going to pretend like I know more than the NFL. I think the NFL knows like what works and what doesn't, but it's exciting to hear an animated announcer.
Just a really that.
I didn't get to talk about this game, Dallas Cowboys, New York Jets. I'll admit that I didn't get to see this game, but I do know that Justin Fields and the Jets put up a few poverty touchdowns to make the stat line look a little bit better, when in reality, you know, the Dallas Cowboys are playing really, really good. Got to give a shout out. George Pickens. Now, I knew George Pickens was going to be good when he came to Dallas. I mean, that made a lot of sense, right? Why not? Especially now with CeeDee Lamb out, but Javonte Williams. I need to issue my Javonte Williams apology for him. I thought Javonte Williams was washed. I thought Javonte Williams, like a couple years ago when he was on Denver, I was pretty excited about him. Didn't see him get to do much. I know he got injured. And it's like, okay, whatever. Javonte goes to Dallas. But dude, he's playing so good. Playing so good. Final game of the evening that we have to talk about. Stephon Diggs and the New England Patriots just beat the undefeated Buffalo Bills. This guy said the Pats could genuinely be 4-1 if they knew how to hold the ball week 3. The Bills would have won if they scored more points than the Patriots. That is a hell of a point you make right there. 5 words, Drake Maye. To Drake Maye, every time I see you on the field, my heart races. It's not just your talent, which is undeniable, but the way you carry yourself with such poise and determination. You've got this incredible spark of passion that's contagious, and it makes me believe that anything is possible. I admire your hard work and dedication. You inspire me every day to chase my dreams with the same fervor that you bring to the game. Thank you for being you. That's a hell of a speech, dude. I gotta love that. I'm sure AI wrote that shit for you, you fraud, but I respect it. A couple days ago, I said that Drake Maye is playing like the best quarterback in his quarterback class. And this is literally last week, by the way. And everybody lit me the fuck up in the comments just saying, like, bro, don't you know that Jaden Daniels is in that class? Bro, don't you know that Bo Nix is in that class? Hell yeah, I know that. Hell yeah, I know that. I'm well aware that those guys are in that class. I'm well aware that last year, those guys played way better. I'm also well aware that Drake Maye is probably playing the most efficient football that he could possibly be playing. 22 for 30, 273 yards. He's playing awesome. They just outplayed the undefeated Buffalo Bills, 23-20. Not only that, but can we talk about Stephon Diggs? Stephon Diggs, me and my buddy were just talking about this yesterday. Diggs was on waivers in our fantasy football league. Now, yes, that's probably pretty casual for our fantasy football league. He probably shouldn't have been on waivers. But 10 receptions, 146 yards. Look, if Drake Maye just had 2 passing touchdowns, right? And if it didn't say 0 touchdowns here, would we all just be insta-glazing him? I actually think he's deserving of the glaze. Ramondre Stevenson's bum ass comes in and gets 2 yards per carry, but 2 touchdowns. You're a fraud. That should have gone to Travion Henderson, my GOAT. But that doesn't matter because Drake Maye just beat the Buffalo Bills. He played so good, dude. He was throwing the most wicked passes, too. This was not checked out merchant fraud season. Let's just take a look at this. Take a look at this play and tell me you're not supposed to be glazing Drake Maye right now. Play action. They said there's no way they hand this football off. Patriots running backs are washed and ass. Unless it's Travion Henderson, my GOAT, they should never be giving him the football. So completely ignore the running back. A great play by the defender. Drake Maye. Channels Derrick Henry. Channels Lamar. Channels Tom Brady. Hits Stephon, I have 3 children. Diggs. I'm banging Cardi B. Diggs. Yoink. 13 yards. That's crazy. Also, can we talk about this, boys? Can we talk about one of my biggest underdog plays of the season? Look at me and all the boys took this yesterday. Tell me this doesn't get you amped the fuck up. Dude, a little 5X banger. Dalton, Kincaid, Josh Allen, and Diggs. Not only that, dude, but Kincaid and Diggs absolutely dominated those lines. It's a beautiful thing. No lie, though, that wasn't even the best throw of the night, dude. This was the best throw of the night. Look at this thing. He's rolling right. Dude, he throws this ball with, like, it's like curved to the right. Slight bend to the right. Look at this thing. Oh my goodness, that's glorious. Glorious. Average quarterback throw in today's game, that Justin Herbert throw was still more impressive. Is this just rage bait, or do you just hate yourself, bro? Is this just like, did you just get a kick? Does your dick just get hard when you piss someone off on the internet? Sometimes I get that too, but come on, bro. He's just rage baiting. Caleb Williams does that nearly every play. Maye will be a good quarterback. However, Caleb Williams makes throws like that. All right, boys, at what time do we purge the internet? At what time do we shut the whole thing down? At what time do we go back to the 1920s? I mean, for real. Commanders-Chargers game, honestly, though, I think more than anything, this game sucked. I didn't enjoy this game, but the Chargers lost this game more than the Commanders won. There was a point in time this game was like tied up, felt like it was tied up for a long time, and then Washington kind of ran away with it. Jaden Daniels is back, so that's super exciting for Washington. The biggest takeaway from this game is Bill. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. Deebo Samuel continues to be their best guy. He is clearly not washed. We were clearly wrong about him. Issue the Deebo apology forms. He's playing so hard in Washington. He's playing great. I love the story of this guy, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. The Commanders are getting much more than they bargained for with the number 245 overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Also, you gotta love these shitty websites where they pop up an ad. This is legitimately negative drip. This is the worst hoodie I've ever seen in my whole fucking life. I don't care if it's 100% off, bro. You'd have to pay me to take that off your hands. Why are you running this ad for me, bro? Everyone says ads are targeted. That shit is not drip. Thank you. Good. They heard me talking shit. All right. Now we got a Starlink ad. Now we got luxury recliners. This is the worst. Bro, somebody give this a website some cookies. See why gamers over 40 are keeping this game a secret. You're keeping that game a secret, bro? I'm about to goon right now. Shit. Arizona legalizes powerful arthritis relief? Hell yeah. Yo, how do I get like him? Cardiologist, strong arms after 60 comes down to this? What does it come down to? I just got malware on my computer. Fuck. All right. Last but certainly not least, I do want to give you guys an update on my fantasy football team. Another day, another W, boys. We are now 5-1. Dropped 150 points this week. Josh Allen continues to be just a 20-piece or more every single time. Started Michael Carter this week because I have no running back depth. I desperately need to trade for running backs. I have no running back depth. Granted, Bijan was on a bye, so normally I start Bijan every week, obviously. And then I've had Jaylen Warren coming in and give me like 10-ish, but he's out right now. He's injured. So that was no good either. Finally, though, on my taxi squad, I have Bill, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. So I'm glad it wasn't a close week. I won 150-90, so it didn't matter. But Krosky-Merritt, 27 piece on my taxi squad. I got to pull him off taxi and get him starting pretty much every week here on out. Michael Carter, though, Michael put up a very good performance. He dropped exactly nothing, and then I start him, and he gets 18. How beautiful is that, man? I mean, obviously, it's because James Conner and Trey Benson were out, but he did great. And honestly, Amari DeMercado fumbling that ball, I think Michael Carter is just going to take over. Garrett Wilson, so good. Fantasy wide receiver number 5. Put up another 20-piece. Super consistent, even when the Jets suck. Puka Nacua, fantasy wide receiver number 1. Best pick I ever made. Took him at the start of my first pick in the second round was Puka Nacua, and I'm so glad that I did. Absolute unit. My biggest whiff in fantasy, Travion Henderson. I thought this guy was going to come in and be a monster. I thought they were going to use him a ton more. They got Ramondre Stevenson's bum ass going in there and getting tutties, pissing me right off. Travion gave me 4.7. Yuck. Didn't matter, though, because Dalton Kincaid put up a good 17-piece. Devonta Smith, I was really contemplating not starting him this week because he's been so inconsistent, but he gave me 20. Washed cornball Chris Olave, despite never getting in the end zone, gets a ton of targets. 13, 10, 14, 6, 11. That's what you want out of your PPR merchant. That's what you want out of a fantasy wide receiver if you play PPR. Kicker Chad Brandon Aubrey had only 6. He's still the number 2 kicker, though, because he's a freak. And Denver Broncos defense against Eagles was probably a bold call. Don't think I should have been going for that. But I just want to keep Denver Broncos defense because if I drop them, someone's going to take them. And they're too good to drop. So I'm keeping it. Justin Fields, Talk about this. Justin Fields was injured for a game. He barely did anything in Buffalo, but the games that he's been good, he's been unbelievable as a fantasy quarterback. 30, 28, 26. He's the number 13 quarterback and he didn't play 2 games. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, and then Dylan Gabriel loves his tight ends because David Njoku dropped 19 on my bench and so did Harold Fannin. I'm in a dynasty league, so I don't know how to feel about this. Like, Njoku still is, like, the number 1 guy, but Harold Fannin, I think next year could be an elite guy. And then Jordan Addison at 15. I got to pull him off taxi eventually, too.
Traded.
All right, gentlemen, that is it for Week 5 NFL. I hope you guys enjoyed. I love you. Have an amazing Monday. And don't forget, no matter where you are in your life right now, I'm sure something shitty is happening to you, or something shitty is going on in your life, or something difficult's going on in your life. You can't control what happens to you. You can only control how you react. So react positively. Have an awesome day. I love you. Peace.